Applesauce Season, written by Eden Ross Lipson, illustrated by Mordecai Gerstein. We have permission from Roaring Brook Press to read to you today. Applesauce season starts just about the time school opens, when it's still hot and summery, but vacation is over. One day, Grandma says, "It's time for applesauce." We live in the city. There are no apple trees, but there are farmers markets where there are lots of apples. Sometimes my grandmother goes to the market. Sometimes my mom and dad go. Sometimes my big sisters. If I don't have soccer, I go too. I love apple names. In our markets, first come Ida Red and Paula Red, 20 Ounce and Macintosh, Ginger Gold and Jonna Gold. Later there's McCoon, Baldwin, Northern Spy, and King David, and after that come Wine Sap and Black Twig and Mutsu's mother, and there are lots of others. We buy 6 pounds of apples for sauce because that's just how much our sauce pot holds, and we buy as many more for what Grandma calls eating out of hand. When we get home, the sauce apples are dumped in the kitchen sink and washed. I stand on the stepladder right next to the counter where the grown-ups chop the apples and choose which ones to cut up first. Sometimes I say, "Put in the little ones," sometimes the big ones, sometimes the dark red or yellow ones. My grandmother says there have to be at least 3 kinds in each pot of sauce for real flavor, but sometimes we use more, one of this and one of that too. That's why our applesauce is different every week. As one kind of apple disappears, another takes its place. Mom cuts them into quarters. Grandma cuts them into sixths. I don't know why. The apples go in the pot, skin, seeds, and all. When it is still summer and there's no cider yet, we add a glass of water or juice so the apples won't burn when they cook. Later, we add fresh cider. It doesn't take the apples long to be soft and bubbly and start to smell good. The first time we make sauce, we make fresh cinnamon sugar too. I put sugar into a pretty jar, add some dark brown ground cinnamon, and put the lid on tight and shake until the sugar turns pale brown. When the apples are all soft, a grown-up turns off the stove and opens the pot to let the mush cool a bit while I go and get the food mill. We put the hooks on the bottom of the mill on top of a big bowl and carefully put the warmed cooked apples into it. We grind and scrape till all the apples have gone through to the bowl below, and all that's left in the mill is a small clump of the cooked skins and cores and seeds. Then I put some of the cinnamon sugar into the apples. Not much, just a little. Mom puts in a little slice of butter about the size of the tip of her pinky finger, and Grandma adds a tiny bit of salt. We taste till it tastes right, and then it cools some more and thickens. Then it's ready. Daddy doesn't make applesauce. He makes good things to go with it, like potato pancakes, or for special mornings, fancy thin pancakes called crepes. He puts it with roasts, and if there's any left at the end of the week, he uses it in a cake. That's very good for snacking. We celebrate the first sauce of the season. My big sisters, then the grown-ups, sometimes the neighbors too, all sit at the table. We wait until everyone is served. I get a special cup, and then make a good wish for the rest of the season. We eat applesauce plain, or with ice cream, or cottage cheese, or gingerbread, or cookies, or sliced bananas. The color and the thickness and the taste of the sauce changes every single week. Sometimes it's pink and very sweet. Sometimes it's pale brown and a little dry, so we add more cider. Later, toward Thanksgiving, it's usually yellow. It's always delicious. By December, there are no more new kinds of apples, so we stop making sauce and just eat them. There are other things to do with apples. My grandpa didn't like birthday cake, so he always had apple pie. We remember his birthday by having apple pie with ice cream and a candle on top. Grandpa always saved a piece of that pie for his breakfast to eat with sharp yellow cheese. Daddy sometimes has that too. Apple pie is good, but I still like applesauce best. Maybe I'll change my mind when I grow up. Oh, it looks like he is growing up. Maybe not. Looks like maybe now he's got a little girl going to the farmer's market. And there they are sharing apples at home. Applesauce season.